So this video was supposed to be part 2 of the Mac SE restoration, possibly the final part, depending on how long it would have taken me, but instead, disaster struck. And if you follow me on social media, mainly Twitter, Threads, etc., you'll probably know why, but let me show you. So as you can see, the top head on the drive basically just, is sitting there dangling, and its little flex ribbon is kind of mangled a little bit, although I don't think there's any breaks in it. But I also don't think that this is something that I can possibly recover from because of the fact that it's just, such an intricate, piece of the floppy disk drive, and it needs to be perfectly aligned so that it reads everything properly. And I definitely do not have the skills to do that. So probably not going to be able to fix this. The other reason is because of the fact that I can't even remove the head assembly, because for whatever reason, they decided to put epoxy in where the screws go in, probably to prevent vibrations from loosening the screws and then, of course, causing the heads to become misaligned. It's hard to say, but I've seen images of other floppy drives and they don't have that. So I can't say for sure. But when I attempted to try and remove the assembly, I ended up breaking the screw head off completely. And that's when I noticed the epoxy. So basically, this is probably not salvageable, unfortunately. And the other unfortunate part is that these drives are not exactly cheap, mainly because of the fact they don't make them anymore, and there aren't that many just loose drives in existence. Usually they're part of full machines and everything, and even then, they may or may not work. It's hard to say. Now you're probably wondering why I'm even making this video, and well, I kind of figured you guys deserve to see the losses along with the victories. That way you know what you're getting into. A lot of YouTubers won't show, the failures necessarily. They won't necessarily show the bad parts. Various reasons. I won't go into them. But I figured you guys should see it, especially for those of you that, want to get into the hobby, whether it's retro computing, video games, any kind of electronics, heck, anything in general. You've got to be prepared to deal with stuff like this and accept the fact that in some cases you just can't recover from it. So it's not going to stop the project as a whole. I will continue, refurbishing it and everything just without a floppy disk drive for the time being. But I figured let's go ahead and we'll show you what I did. Maybe you'll catch something that I missed. I'm not sure. I am not going to show you the entire process because it's over 40 minutes long and I don't want to bore you guys. So I'm just going to, skip ahead through different parts here. I myself did go through all the footage and it was not from the cleaning. I can say that. I did inspect everything that I could in the videos and I did not see any damage to the head just yet. I'll show you where I think it does happen though. But basically I start by just removing the drive from its, mounting bracket because I need to be able to get to everything. I do not fully disassemble the drive. Maybe that was a mistake, but at the time my thought process was the less I take apart, the less risk there is in damaging anything and the less I have to put back together again. Plus, it's still possible to do a thorough enough cleaning of the drive in order to be able to get it working again. So I went ahead and I basically just used isopropyl alcohol and a combination of Q-tips and these little foam cleaning tip thingamajiggies. I'm not sure what you call them, but you've probably seen them before. They're not the best in terms of durability. That foam easily tears, unfortunately. But the Q-tips, they leave little threads and stuff like that. So I don't like using them in certain parts because I don't want, them to get stuck and cause more issues. But whatever, I go ahead and give it a full thorough cleaning. Go ahead and relubricate some of the mechanical parts in order to preserve them, prevent metal shavings, make sure everything can glide a lot more easily, etc., etc., etc. Then again, I take it and I plug it in and we do a quick test. And I'd love to let you guys hear the audio from testing it, but for whatever reason, that just got cut out of the video. I'm not sure why. One of the reasons why this video was kind of delayed is because I wanted to see if I could try to recover the audio or find a copy with good audio, but the original recording itself is just bad. So I have video at least. So what I can tell you though is that when I plugged it in and turned the Mac on, immediately I started hearing this like high-pitched buzzing coming from the back of the drive, which usually signifies the eject mechanism. The gear inside, it deteriorates. I think it's made from, PVC and it does not last, or maybe ABS. I'm not sure what plastic it's using, but it over time, it just becomes brittle and it just destroys itself. And you'll see there's a bunch of little particles. The main gear itself is kind of intact, but again, it's just not usable anymore. This is a known issue with these drives. So it's not, uncommon. And there are replacement gears you can get. In fact, I do install a replacement gear. And even at this point, the drive head is, from what I can tell, has not been damaged. What I suspect, though, that happened is when I had to manually eject the disk out, that the dust cover on the disk itself somehow got caught and pulled the head off. Again, I'm not 100% sure because I didn't see anything off at that time. But I went, replaced the gear anyway, put the motor back in, tested the drive. Didn't hear the buzzing anymore, so that's good. But I was hearing some I can't quite explain how it sounds, but like a type sound. And I thought it was coming from the motor that controls the actual drive itself. It spins the platter inside the disk itself so that, the heads can read and everything. And I realized, let me put it back in the bracket. It's possible that motor is just rubbing against the desk here. We try that again. Same thing, nothing. Try, putting the drive in different positions, things like that. I double check everything to make sure that, I didn't miss a spring or lose a spring or anything like that. And it's just not, doing anything. So I take it back out, try to inspect it. And that's when I noticed that the head was just kind of dangling. And then that noise that I was hearing was actually the head rubbing against the disc itself. Again, I can't confirm if it's, was pulled off by the dust cover. It could have been something else. It could have just been on its way to fail anyway. I searched online. I don't see any reports of that ever happening, but who knows? Maybe no one ever published that information. It's hard to say. So yeah, unfortunately, this drive is toast for now anyway. Maybe there is a way to replace the head at some point. Maybe there's a way to loosen up that epoxy. I'm not sure. At some point, I will probably replace it. I don't want to spend any more money on this project. So I'm just going to, continue on without a floppy disk drive. I don't really need one anyway. As I said, I'm going to replace the original SCSI drive with a SCSI to SD. I'm going to do all that preparation using VMAC or a similar emulator and create the images and everything, and then get that flashed onto the disk so that I can then boot the Mac from there anyway. So I'm just going to dump everything that I need onto it. And I also have the blue SCSI, which I can use to copy data back and forth as well. So it's not that big of a deal. If I really truly need something off of a physical disk, I've got the Mac Plus. Like I said, I can just transfer it to the blue SCSI and then, copy them that way. So it sucks, especially since these drives are becoming rarer and rarer because, again, they don't make them anymore. And there's only so many that are available out there. There is the floppy emu, which, you can use to replace a failed drive. And it's, obviously it's solid state. Runs off of SD cards, and it will work on various different models of Macintosh. You can boot hard drive images off of it on some Macs. And so there is that option if I ever, wanted to go that route. And, I could always just steal the floppy disk drive from the Mac Plus if I really wanted to, but I want to leave that one alone because that particular Mac is as original as I can get it. It's got a period appropriate keyboard, mouse, all of that fun stuff. Yeah. If you guys have any tips or suggestions or anything on how I could possibly repair this drive or replace the heads or any leads on some affordable drives, even if they're filthy and I need to clean them again or, swap parts back and forth. Maybe the entire eject mechanism in that particular drive is bad. I could take the one from this drive and swap them. If you guys know about any of that stuff, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks all, and I'll catch you later.